Page 4. I go for refuge and turn my light into the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn my light into the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations or practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge and turn my light into the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become a Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Sanye Juda Zoge Chonam La Chanjo Bhado Dane Gyapso Che Dage Jinso Zoge Chonam La Chanjo Bhado Dane Gyapso Che Dage Jinso Kebe Sonam Lola Benye Sanye Drubare Sho Gomman. Dage Jinso Kebe Deja Cho. Chacho. Ah. Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Bhati Mahashamanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Bhati Mahashamanaye Swaha Om Ye Dharma Hetu Prabhavam Hetum Tesham Dathagato Yavatat Tesham Chayo Nirodha Evam Bhati Mahashramanaye Swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation of causes as well is taught by the great seer. Okay, let us turn to page 200, the three essential points. Three essential points, page 200. And for some of you, it may be three essential points. 200. Okay, those with the new edition, page number 205. 205. Okay. The three essential points. What do you have? What else? What else?
We also have some verse from there.
What else?
We also have Jetson Kapa's the praise for Shakyamuni Buddha for the dependent origination.
Okay, so then we can read the
Origination by Jetson Kapa. We also have the Nova Mahayana Sutra Dependent Arising.
Okay, yes. Noble Mahana Sutra, Dependent Arising. English page number. What I have is 61. Yes, 61. The old edition, 61. New edition, 61. Okay. Noble Mahana Sutra, Dependent Arising. This is a very important sutra, which the Buddha taught in the heaven, and Avalokiteshvara stood up with prostration to Buddha and then asked the Buddha to informing the Buddha that the god and goddesses, they came in huge number to receive teachings from the Buddha as to how to accumulate so much of merit within a short span of time. And then the Buddha taught the Dharma mantra, which we just recited, page 61. Page 61. Okay, so this mantra is so precious, and I suggest people that when you travel by aeroplane, by train, by cars, or when you go in the wilderness for some walks, or you go to see the water bodies, they recite this mantra for all these creatures, trillions of creatures which exist there, recite this mantra for them. And because that why we suffer is because of the lack of belief, lack of confidence in the teaching of cause and effect, teaching of the karmic cause and effect. So this, and the mantra will tell, is actually a message for us to gain confidence in the efficacy of the law of cause and effect. And when that comes to our mind, we can become very practical person. For example, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, extremely practical. When somebody becomes sick and inform this to His Holiness, His Holiness not to do, His Holiness will not say, do this puja. No, he'll say, go to hospital. Very practical. So this is, if we learn this mantra, the meanings, and imbibe the meaning within your being, one tends to become extremely practical person. So this is, and then you will see how the Buddha instructed how to build a stupa, a small, even a tiny stupa for those people who can afford. You can build huge, elegant stupas, but who don't have the material resources. You can still build stupas, but the real stupa is what is contained within the stupa. This mantra, Buddha instructed that this mantra be put in the stupa, and eventually this stupa should not be external stupa, it should be internal stupa. That the mantra should be reflected inside your mind. The meanings must be reflected within the mind, and then apply this. That becomes the real stupa. Okay, this is what the Buddha advice. We'll decide this together. The Noble Mahana Sutra, Dependent Arising. Homage to all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Thus did I hear at one time, the Blessed One was in the realm of the 33 gods, seated on the throne of Indra. With him were great hearers such as the Venerable Ashvajit, Bodhisattva Mahasatva such as Noble Maitreya, Noble Avalokiteshvara, and Vajrapani, who were adorned with immeasurable precious qualities, as well as various gods such as the great Brahma, who is the Lord of the Saha world, Narayana, the great Ishvar, Sakhara, who is the chief of the gods, and Panchasikas, who is the king of the Gandharvas. On that occasion, the Bodhisattva Mahasatva Avalokiteshvara rose from his seat, and having draped his upper robe over one shoulder, knelt down with his right knee on the peak of Mount Meru, his palms together. He then bowed towards the Blessed One and addressed these words to him. Blessed One, these gods all really wish to build a stupa. Now that they are present in this entourage, please teach them the Dharma in such a way so that the merits of Brahma will increase and the merit of the monks, nuns, laymen, and labormen will increase much more than that of all types of beings in the world of gods, Maharas and Brahmins, including Renunciants and Brahmins. At this, the Blessed One spoke the verse of dependent arising. ye dharma hetu prabhava hetum tesham tathagato hyavatat tesham chayo nirodham evam vadi ma shramanaye swaha. All phenomena arise from causes. The causes are taught by the Tathagata. The cessation causes as well as taught by the great seer. Avalokiteshvara, it is like this, that this dependent arising is the Dharmakaya of all the Buddhas. One who sees dependent arising sees that Tathagata, Avalokiteshvara. If a faithful son or a daughter of noble family builds in a remote place a stupa the size of a gooseberry fruit, with a central pillar the size of a needle and a parasol the size of a flower of the bagula tree, and inserts this verse of dependent arising, which is the Dharma Dhatu, he or she will generate the merit of the Brahma. When such person pass on from here and die, they will be reborn in the world of Brahma. When they pass on from there and die, they will be reborn with fortunes equaling those of the gods of the pure abodes. After the Blessed One had spoken these words, the hearers, the Bodhisattvas, the whole assembly, and the universe of gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas rejoiced and praised his teaching. Okay. Continuation from where we left yesterday, we talked about the two opposites, establishing that if nothing exists objectively, everything exists subjectively. That's what we learned. So subjective as opposed to objective, and what else? Subjective as opposed to objective, and what else? Conventional as opposed to ultimate. Dependent as opposed to independent. Deceptive as opposed to truly existent. Relative as opposed to absolute. Okay, we need to remember all these things. And what we did was that how the subjective things exist subjectively as opposed to objectively, and subjective and conventional, how these two are synonymous. This is what we learned yesterday. So now we dive into what emptiness is. For this, we remember that to go into emptiness, we need to clear the two, we need to get the correct answers to the first two questions. What are the two questions? Raise hands. Yes, Thomas. First question. What is the first? Do things exist? Okay, Carl, second question. Do things exist objectively? Okay, what's the answer to the first question? Do things exist? Answer is yes. If you say no, what's the problem? Nihilism. And what's the second question? Do things exist objectively? What's the answer? No. If you say yes, what's the problem? Extreme of absolutism. Only when your answers are correct to these two questions, you are entitled to study emptiness. So, if ever in your life, with the more detailed studies of emptiness, you encounter with the people, or you think that, I say the emptiness, and there's nothing existing. If this is what comes to mind, remember these two questions. It's very important. And also, if you do meet with people who said, in Buddhism there's nothing, everything's empty, then you have to remember these two questions. Everything's not empty. Everything exists. Everything exists. The empty meaning, empty of objective existence. Okay, so with these two things done, the next step to go to emptiness is emptiness equals dependent origination. Dependent origination equals the middle way. Therefore, okay, so what is that is A equals B and B equals C. What would you deduce then? Therefore, A equals C. Likewise, what is that is that emptiness equals dependent origination. Dependent origination equals the middle way. Therefore, emptiness equals the middle way. Middle way meaning it is not nihilism. Okay, so we have to establish How emptiness equals the middle way? Sorry, how emptiness equals dependent origination? Number one. Number two, how dependent origination means the middle way, and then you deduce, therefore emptiness means the middle way. The first, what is the first one? How emptiness equals dependent origination. For this we need to know 5 points. How emptiness equals dependent origination. For this we need to have 5 points. 1. First, emptiness. Emptiness. Momo, you got? Emptiness equals dependent origination. Dependent origin equals middle way. Therefore, emptiness equals emptiness equals the middle way. A equals B, B equals C, therefore A equals C. Therefore emptiness equals the middle way. Good. Okay, so how is that emptiness equals dependent origination? For this we need to know 5 points. First, emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Let me repeat it. Okay, how many of you know who? Who? Anju? Anju, right? The lady there, your name? Manju. Manjuji, what is who? What is who? What is who? WHO, who? Who are you? WHO, what are you?
Who am I?
What is the meaning of who?
What is the meaning of who? Who is? Who?
Okay, Manjuji is confused. Manjuji is confused. He knows the meaning of who, right? He knows the meaning of who. Yes, right. So, when I ask what is who doesn't mean who are you, who. It simply means it's a short form of World Health Organization. You are getting it? Don't take it too literally. It is an acronym of World Health Organization. Likewise, when we say emptiness, don't take it too literally. It is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. So number 1, emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 2. Number 3, emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Let me repeat it. Emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 4, nothing exists independently means everything exists by dependence. Everything exists by dependence. Number 4. Number 5, everything exists by dependence means everything is dependently originated. Everything is dependently originated. Okay, let me repeat it. First, emptiness. Number 2, emptiness is a short form of emptiness of independent existence. Number 3, emptiness of independent existence means nothing exists independently. Number 4, nothing exists independently means everything exists by dependence. Hey, Pujala, don't disturb Arman. Arman has to listen to these. He's an analyst. He needs the data, right? You already wrote. Are you sure? Or what are 5 points?
Nothing exists independently. Everything exists by dependence, and everything is dependently originated.
Wonderful, amazing. Okay, he's a real data analyst. Okay, thank you. So from this we see that emptiness equals dependent origination. Good. Next. What's next? What is next? Dependent origination equals the middle way. How dependent origination equals the middle way? Dependent origination has 2 sides. Dependence and origination. When we say dependence, When you say dependence, what is the opposite of dependence? Independence. When you say dependence, you reject independence. And independence and absolutism, these two mean the same. It's independent, it's absolute. So when you say dependent, you are rejecting the extreme of absolutism. Number two, origination. When you say origination, something, it means something comes into origination. Something comes into existence. And what is the opposite of existence? What is the opposite of existence? Non-existence or nihilism. So when you say the origination, it rejects the extreme of nihilism. Bringing the two together, dependent, origination together, rejects the two extremes. Rejecting the two extremes is following the middle way. So therefore, dependent origination means the middle way. So, emptiness equals dependent origination. Dependent origination equals the middle way. Therefore, emptiness equals the middle way. Very good. This is very important. If ever in your life you meet with people who say that in Buddhism, the Buddha taught nothing exists, everything is empty and selfless, you have to understand that this person is falling into nihilism. It's not the good understanding. And why I am emphasizing so much on this part is because that one time in a big conference, one very respected professor, very senior professor, and who is claimed to be a professor or expert in Buddhist philosophy and Hindu philosophy. And yes, of course, one thing that I truly appreciate this professor is that he has a very open mind, not at all rigid. That's amazing. There's no fundamentalism. There's no fanaticism with this professor. It's amazing. If anybody says something sensible, he will agree. And even if may not agree, even if may not tally with his own belief, but if it makes sense, he would agree. That's amazing. So, one day in a conference, he said that in Buddhism there's no self. And initially I thought that, okay, he meant to say no objective self. And then the person, he was the chairperson in the conference meeting. And from the audience, somebody was again saying something. Then he justified what he said. In Buddhism, nothing exists. Everything's empty. I was literally shocked. I was not expecting such a... Of course, he's very bright and very open-minded. But I could not really believe that this is what is coming from his mouth. Somebody who is respected, who is claimed as an expert in Buddhist philosophy. I was very sad. So, all these many years being a professor, then keep reading books here, there, not studying systematically. That's the problem. That's the problem. Okay, I will not mention his name to respect his privacy. Yes, Thomas.
But could you take his mind?
Huh?
Did you give him a correct information regarding how good he lives, really?
Say it again.
Did you change his mind? Did you explain how things are?
Oh.
No?
Don't try to change the mind of the old people like us. Change the mind of the young people. Old people, they will not give up easily, right? So like my age, don't try to change, right? Only if the person is gifted with very open-mindedness, then this is a different story. One. Okay. So good. So now with this, the next point that I'd like to share with you is dependent origination. This is so important. Always see emptiness in the life of dependent origination. Emptiness and dependent origination to be seen as the two sides of the same coin. This is so important. If you don't see the emptiness and dependent origination as the two sides of the same coin, then the problem is you can easily slide into nihilism. Okay. So for this, we need to know more about dependent origination. And His Holiness the Dalai Lama classifies the understanding of dependent origination on three levels. Three levels of dependent origination. The first is dependent origination of the results dependence on causes. Dependent origination of results dependence on causes, number one. Number two, dependent origination of the wholes dependence on parts. The whole, W-H-O-L-E, whole. Dependent origination of the wholes dependence on parts, number two. Number three, dependent origination of dependence on mere mental designation. Let me repeat it. Dependent origination of dependence on mere mental designation. Three levels of dependent origination. Okay, now I'm going to also take you to little bit of the technical side as well. Technical side, it doesn't mean it's difficult. Okay, the first one, dependent origination of the results dependence on cause. Results dependence on cause, number one. Number two, dependent origination of the wholes dependence on parts. Number three, dependent origination of dependence on mere mental designation or mental imputation. These two are same. Mere mental designation or mere imputation. Good. Okay, anyone wants me to repeat? No one. Good. Okay. Three levels of dependent origination. Now, first I'm going to explain this, each one of these, and then we'll go a little bit into the technical part. First, dependent origination results dependent cause. For example, let's say the flower. And it's not that these three are contradictory to each other. No, these three can overlap. For example, with the flower, you see that all three levels of dependent origination overlap with the flower. But in terms of your understanding, the first one is gross, the second one is subtler, third one is subtlest. But in terms of the existence, these three can coexist. Let's say the flower. The flower comes into being but depends on the earlier causes conditions. The flower comes into being by dependence on its earlier causes and conditions, which means that the flower fulfills the first level of dependent origination. It is a result dependent which came into being but depends on the earlier causes. Number two, that the flower is made of multiple parts. It has petals, pistil, and the branches, stems, and so forth. It has multiple parts. So flower as a whole, imputed on the basis of the multiple parts. So dependent on the multiple parts. This is number two. Number three. Okay, number three is a little technical. Listen. How many understood the first one? Dependent origin of flowers dependent on its earlier causes. Very good. Number two, the flower exists but depends on its parts. How many agree? Good. Number three is a little technical. Let's say that, do you agree with me that this flower is nothing but made of cells? Say this is a real flower. There's nothing but made of billions of cells. You agree? And the cells are made of cell membrane, cytoplasm, and the nucleus. You agree? And the nucleus is made of chromosomes. Chromosomes are made of DNA molecules, and DNA molecules are made of atoms. How many agree with me? Raise hands. On that level, we see that this flower is nothing but a pool of atoms. You agree? It's just a pool of atoms. Now, if you go on that level, there's no flower. How many agree with me? Raise hands. If you go on that level, there's no flower. It's just pool of atoms. Atoms moving like this. That's it. But when you don't go too deep inside the object, keep a distance. Look at it, you see a flower. Okay, now tell me, where is that flower that you are seeing? Is it on the atoms, or is it in your mind, or where is it? Okay, how many of you say it's in the mind? You don't have to say this. You have to say it. Don't just mimic somebody. Raise hands who said that flower is in the mind. If the flower is in mind, why people not looking into eyes? Why people looking at this object? If the flower is in your mind, then people should look in your mind, right? So where's the flower? If I go to point to your mind, people say you are crazy. Flower is there, not there. You're getting it? Flower is in the mind or is there? Huh? If you say it is in the mind, it contradicts with the conventional world. So where is the flower? Huh? Hey, where's the flower? Hey, what happened? Now you forgot where the flower is. Valerie. Tenzi Yangzom. In your eyes.
Я думаю, что цветок на 50% находится на уровне объекта и на 50% на уровне субъекта.
Venerable Geshe, I think that the flower is 50% from the object and 50% from the subject.
Okay, here the flower is not complete, it's half. So Valerie is half. I'm seeing Valerie is just half, not complete Valerie. Right? Your breakfast, you only have half, but not full breakfast. You bought an aeroplane ticket, just half a ticket for the babies. Okay, so where's the flower? Over there.
Objectively, it's a bunch of atoms, and it's doing its function of growing and, having some kinds of concentration of color, whatever. So it exists, but when we were infants, we were taught to discriminate between red and green and shape, and somebody taught us that this was a flower.
Shaheen, my question, where is the flower?
Okay. Objectively, something exists,
This
but
not
the label flower is in my mind.
Flower exists or not exists?
Yes.
Where is it?
Objectively, right now in your hand.
On the object or in your mind?
The object exists in reality, the label exists in the mind.
Okay, so the label exists in mind.
Yes.
Object exists there.
Yeah.
The flower as the object exists there.
There.
It's just full of atoms. There's no flower there.
Something exists.
What is that something? What is that something?
It's a bunch of atoms.
Not the flower.
Well, a bunch of atoms that behaves in a certain way,
No.
which I call flower.
So a bunch of flowers. Bunch of flowers is not the flower. Bunch of atoms is not the flower.
The atoms exist and I call it flower in my mind.
Okay, so otherwise there's no flower.
Yes.
There's no flower.
The label flower is not there.
That's not my question. There's no flower.
No, there is.
Bunch of atoms there. No flower.
No, there is a flower there.
There's a flower. Where? Atoms of flower.
The atoms are what I call flower.
Atoms, are they flower or not?
For me.
Are they flower or not?
For me. They're a flower for me.
For the world.
Like for a bird, it would be something else. For a bee, it would be
all the
something
human
else.
beings. Okay.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
So, how many of you, this is quite a challenging question. You cannot answer too satisfactorily. Raise hands. It's quite challenging. Where's the flower? It's a bunch of atoms. Atoms, and on the atomic level, this flower looks nice, beautiful. But none of the atoms is beautiful. So this concept of beautiful flower disappears on the level of the atoms. Yet, undeniably, we are seeing a beautiful flower. Where is that beautiful flower? This is the question. Okay, Jimela.
There's a two-level Geshe. Like conventional level, we can see flower as a object, but ultimate level, like and when we ultimate analyze, there's a bunch of atom, but there's a
At the conventional level, there's a flower. So flower is here.
Yeah.
It's just pool of atoms.
It's a part of the
So part of the
collection
flower.
of parts, yeah.
The part of the flower is not the flower.
Floor.
Parts of the flower is not flower. The pillar is not a house.
Sorry?
Pillars are not the house.
It's a part of the house, so it's a house.
It is a part of a house, therefore it's not a house.
It's house.
Pillar is house. It's
No,
interesting.
not a whole, like, but it's
No,
included.
pillar. This pillar is house.
Yes, yeah, but it's a part of the house.
This is part of a house, I know.
Yeah.
It's not house.
So if we look from the
This pillar does not have a door.
door, have a pillar. Don't need
Yes.
a pillar, sir.
Pillar doesn't have a door. It doesn't have a window.
Yeah.
It is not a house.
It is part of a house.
Part of a house, I know.
Yeah, but it's
not a
not
house.
a house. Like,
It's not a house.
yeah, the house.
not a house.
The conventionally we say house means like whole together.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Your hand is not you.
It's my hand. Not
It's
me.
not you.
Yeah,
Your hand is not you.
not me.
Good. The pillar is not house. It's the part of the house.
Yeah,
It's not house.
not house.
So the atoms are not the flower.
Not flower. It's atom.
It's not the flower. So on the atoms there's no flower.
At the atom level, like there's no flower.
Very good.
Yeah.
So flower is not on the flower, on the atoms.
Flower?
Flower is not on the atoms.
No.
So flower is where?
Like we.
Your mind.
Yeah. Subjectively, we.
So the flower is in your mind, not there.
Yeah.
So Jimala is in my mind, you are not there.
But my atoms are here.
Huh?
Atoms.
Okay. Which means that Jimala is finding a little complicated. Chelsea, you want to face the challenge? Yes, tell me. Where's the flower?
Thank you, Geshe. When I'm looking in your direction, I see the flower in your hand. And it's true that it is a bunch of atoms, but I can't see the atoms unless I
You cannot see.
unless
you cannot
I
see.
look closer.
You cannot see.
with
Simply
my
because you
eyes.
cannot see doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
That's true.
So therefore the bunch of atoms is there.
Yes.
On the atoms there's no flower.
Well, there's both.
There's both.
Yes.
So atoms are not a flower.
The atoms are. So when I look at the flower with
Yes,
my eyes, I can see the
no.
flower. I cannot see the atoms. In order to see the atoms, I would have to move
You
closer
don't
and
just
use
see,
an
but the
electron
reality is that
microscope.
it exists there.
One more
In
time.
reality, the atoms exist there. Whether
That's
you
true,
see it or
yes.
not, that's a different story.
Yes.
On the atomic level, there's no flower.
On the atomic level, there is no flower.
If you go there, there's no flower to be seen.
That's true.
What you see is deceptive.
Yes.
So there's no flower. What you see is deceptive.
Conventionally, there's a
What
flower.
you see is not true.
That's true.
So there's no flower.
There is. Conventionally.
Where is it?
When I look with my eye consciousness, on a conventional level, there's a
So
flower.
where is
If
that? Where is that which your eyes could see? Where's that flower which your eyes could see?
From the
Is
subject.
it on the atoms or on the subject?
Subject.
So your flower, the flower is in a subject. So I'm seeing Chelsea is in my mind, not you.
A combination of both.
Combination of both. So we should always go together. For Chelsea, he says we should always go together, right?
I think in order to see the atoms, I would have to look closer and closer at the flower.
Good, Chelsea. Okay, I know this is why you are always taking cupboard with you. Now I know the reason. Okay, good. Okay, this is very complicated. I don't know how to give this answer. So with this, what I'm saying is that, say the flower fulfills the first level of dependent origination, that it is a result dependence on its causes, number one. Number two, the flower exists by dependence on its parts, number two. Number three, that the flower is nothing but pool of atoms. And actually on the atomic level, there's no flower. Only when you keep distance. Only when you keep distance to look at it, you see a flower. But you cannot deny that the flower is there. But on the atomic level, it's not there. So the flower makes sense only to your subject mind. which is distance from the flower, which perceives the flower from distance. So this flower makes sense only by dependence on the mental designation, on the mind which sees the flower. You're getting it? Let me repeat it. So just imagine it's just pool of atoms. You come too close, pool of atoms. Okay. So from distance you see me in water. From distance you see me in water. You're wondering, is he really in water or what I'm seeing is mirage? How will you decide? How will you evaluate if I'm really in water or that what you are seeing is a mirage? How will you decide? Kim, how will you just decide? Just imagine that you are half a kilometer away from me and you are seeing me in water. You're wondering, is that real water or what you are seeing is a mirage? How will you evaluate this? Just think, there's no right and wrong answer, just give your answer.
That you are a body of water.
Sorry?
That you are a body of water, or that you are water.
Say you are half a kilometer away from me.
Yes.
You are seeing me in water.
Inside the water.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're wondering, is that really water? Or what you are seeing is a mirage? How will you evaluate that? How will you
I will try to walk there.
Okay. Maybe Momo is better. Momo, tell me. How will you evaluate?
I will come closer to you.
Perfect, makes sense. You're wise. Momo is wise. Come closer, and you say it's totally dry. There's no water there. Then you conclude that what you earlier saw as water was not real water. It was mirage. You're getting it? This is what Arya Nagarjuna taught. Did you read Arya Nagarjuna's book? Momo? No? Maybe you used to know Arya Nagarjuna in the past life. Because you said exactly what Arya Nagarjuna taught. Arya Nagarjuna taught in the text, Precious Garland, if the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? If the mirage were to be water, why not those close by the mirage see water? The fact that closer you come to the object, you see there's no water there, which means what you earlier saw was a mirage, it's not a water. How many agree with this? How many agree with Arya Nagarjuna and Momo? How many you agree with two of them? Raise hands. Good. So, the flower is just say the illusory existence, which exists but depends on your mind, but depends on your mental imputation. From the object there's no flower at all. It's just pool of atoms and your mind imputes a flower there. So this is known as the flower existing by dependence on mental imputation. You're getting it? Okay, how many you got 60% of what I said? That the flower exists by mental imputation, not from the atoms. 60%, minimum 60%. Good. So 3 levels of dependent origination. Now I have to touch this part. Little bit of technical side. Technical. That is that of the 3 levels of dependent origination, only Madhyamaga school, we remember the 4 schools. What are they? Vaibhashika, Sautrantika, Chittamatra, Madhyamaga, 4 schools. Of the 4 schools, only the first school accepts all 3 of them as dependent origination. Whereas the other schools, Chittamatra, Sautrantika, Vaibhashika, for them, dependent origination means only the first level, not the second and third. They don't talk about, say, the flower dependent on the paths. This is not what calls dependent origination. For them, dependent origination means only a result dependent on the causes, not the second and third. This is according to lower schools, Chittamatra, Sautrantika, and Vaibhashika. Whereas for Madhyamaka, on this basis, now tell me, according to the lower schools, Chittamatra, Sautrantika, Vaibhashika, tell me, dependent origination applies to which object? Impermanent or permanent objects? Or both? Huh? What do you say? Impermanent. According to lower schools, I'm not talking about Madhyamaka, lower schools say dependent origin is applicable to impermanent or impermanent, or both. Huh? I'm talking about the lower schools. So look, you trust my face. Because you trust my face, your confidence was shaken. You're getting it? What you said is correct. You're getting what you said is correct. So I'm checking your confidence. So it's true. I've got low schools, and dependent origination applies only to impermanent phenomena. It does not apply to the permanent phenomena. Whereas according to Madhyamaka, dependent origination and phenomena or existence, they are synonymous. In other words, anything that exists, be it permanent or impermanent, should necessarily be dependently originated. You're getting it? So, according to Madhyamaka, dependent origination is applicable to all phenomena, permanent and impermanent both. This is a small, say, technical part that we need to remember. Okay, good. Now, when you understand dependent origin pretty well, yes, Igor.
Hello. Yes, Geshe, just one question. You mentioned that these three levels of dependent origination can overlap. But
Can overlap, yes. Overlap meaning one object can fulfill all three.
Yes, but shouldn't they always overlap as per Madhyamaka? Shouldn't they always overlap?
Not necessary. Because with the permanent phenomena, the first dependent origination is missing.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Yes, Gabor.
Thank you, Geshe. I don't fully understand how Chittamatra don't accept the mere mental imputation as a dependent origination.
Okay, this is good question. Very good. Not only good question, very good question. Gabor always creates problem on me. Okay, thank you. This is a good question. Very good question. How come that Chittamatra cannot accept dependent origination over the permanent phenomena? This is a good question. Okay. Say the sutra, Salistamba Sutra, or Rice Seedling Sutra, Sutra on dependent origination. The Buddha taught, whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma, and whosoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. Let's not forget it. This is very important. Armin, what did I say? Full stop. Whosoever sees dependent origination will see the Dharma. Whosoever sees the Dharma will see the Buddha. Repeat it, say it again.
Whoever sees dependent origination sees the Dharma. Whoever sees the Dharma sees the Buddha.
Wonderful, amazing. Thank you. This is one part. Second part, the Buddha taught, because this exists, that exists. Because this is produced, that is produced. Number two. Number three, because of ignorance, karma is created. Because of karma, consciousness is produced. Because of consciousness, name and form is produced. Because of name and form, sources are produced. Because of which, the contact is produced. Because of which, feelings produced. Because of which, attachment is produced. Because of which, grasping is produced. Because of which, existence is produced. Because of which, birth is produced. Because of which, aging and death is produced. And then the Buddha continued, when the ignorance ceases, karma ceases, because of which consciousness ceases, because of which name and form ceases, and so forth, till because of which aging and death ceases. Aging and death stops. Okay, this is what the Buddha taught. So here we see that whosoever sees dependent origination will see the dharma. So here, this dependent origination, and then when explaining in the dependent origination there, primarily the Buddha explained the first level of dependent origination. First level of dependent origination. First level of dependent origination. Okay, so on the what do you say? The 12 links. 12 links is what? This is related to which of the 3 levels of dependent origination? First link. So the lower schools, Chittamatra and the lower schools, in the first place, keep in mind that when we learn these things, we are being spoon-fed. We're being spoon-fed with prasangika and all these things. We're being spoon-fed by the Narada masters. Whereas, if you're to really give your own thoughts, for example, say the Chittamatra, we say, oh, Chittamatra masters, they are very highly intellectual, greatly intelligent. How come that they don't know this? We also don't know. We don't know. But we learn that Madhyamikas they accept like this. So we learned it, so therefore we mimic. So but originally Chittamatra, for them to understand this, dependent origin is applicable to all phenomena. This is something very difficult for them. Because for them, they have some degree of objective existence. Objective existence, and they cannot accept things as coming to being by the power of the mind, but as nature of the mind, not by the power of the mind. You're getting it? So therefore, say, only when you're able to reject all degree of objective existence, particularly I would say the Prasanga Madhyamaka, then you can accept everything is composite, non-composite, they're very similar in ways that they're all coming from your mind. Dependent on your mind. This is the meaning of dependent origination. Besides this, for Chittamatra, mind and something different. The mind and what is the nature of the mind. These two are very different. So, this is one thing. And then okay, let me give you one example. That there are brilliant scholars from Sri Lanka who follow which tradition? Theravada tradition. They are brilliant scholars. Of course, intelligent people are born anywhere, not necessarily born in the Nalanda system. They are born in the non-Nalanda systems also. But for the first time, when I met him, he's a brilliant scholar, original scholar, but following the Theravada tradition from Sri Lanka, a great practitioner. During conference, he was the keynote speaker from the Pali tradition about explaining the nirvana, concept of moksha, or concept of nirvana. And I was to present it from the Mahayana perspective. And in his presentation, he came up with some questions. He said that these are questions which is a little vague. Answer you find a little vague. Buddha taught no self. Buddha taught no self. But if the self is not there, how can I explain the 12 links of dependent origination? But somebody is to die. Then somebody is to, say, take birth, 11 birth. 11 birth and then 12 death. And again birth. So what takes birth if the self is not there? So then he just brought the question and then he was trying to give the answer. Answer he was trying to give was that, he said that this is a big question. On the one hand, no self. On the other hand, rebirth. How to explain this? So he said that maybe we can explain this by bringing in the mind, consciousness of the mind, traveling from one to the other. Buddha made it very clear, no self. So it must be the mind. Then I realized, okay, for me it's very easy. It's very easy. This question is not a question for me. Why? Not because of my greatness. Because all these are in great detail studied in the Narendra tradition. Vaibhashika, how they respond to this question? South Atlantica, how they respond to this question? Chitta Matra, Svatana Matimaka, Prasanga Matimaka, how they debate amongst themselves. All these questions, answers, they were just fleshed out like a shopping mall, huge shopping mall, all answers are there. And for him, all these trove of treasures missing. And he was trying to come up with his own answers. So what I'm saying is that for us, Madhyamika or the dependent origin applies to all phenomena. Chittamatra does not. So this all be already made. In reality, when you really go to that, both at one time, because law of karma is so important. Law of karma. Law of karma falls under which dependent origination? First, second, third. The first. So many people say they general thinking, blind faith. Blind faith means law of karma is gone. You getting it? Blind faith means, for example, oh, I'm sick, do this puja, right? Oh, I'm sick. Oh, there must be some object in your house to throw this, right? His Holiness will never say that. His Holiness will go to hospital. You're getting it? So what I'm saying is that where cause and effect, when the cause and effect is not understood, then many problems happen. So the Buddha taught emphasis so much on the law of karma, cause and effect. Because of which, then the philosophers, they revolve the philosophy around this cause and effect, which is dependent origination of the results depends on causes. Okay, good. So with this, now the next point is that we need to think of this more. The whole universe is operating on the basis of first level of dependent origination. Let me repeat it. Whole universe is operating on the basis of the first level of dependent origination. Cause and effect, cause and effect, cause and effect. So, ye dharma hetu prabhava. And Four Noble Truths. Truth of suffering, then next. Hey, what happened? Truth of suffering and truth of cause of suffering. So there's a tremendous emphasis on the cause and effect, cause and effect. Okay. And the whole universe operates on this cause and effect. And if you don't understand this, we can easily fall prey to blind faith. I'm going to give you one example. One time, I must be in my 20s, mid-20s, in my monastery. From IBD, I moved to South India, Damdul Monastery. And there, I was awestruck with the natural phenomena, which in my mind, I think that this is possible only two ways. Either God, there should be God who decides, or cause and effect, law of karma. Besides these two, there's no third option. What is that? I was amazed. What happened? How it all triggered was that we started to have a water scarcity problem. Water, because the water table is dropping, and many of the water pumps, they're drying up. And if the water is gone, finished, we cannot survive. Very dangerous. And that was that thought very naturally came to me, that, okay, so we have water problem. If the water table, groundwater table drops, then we'll not get water. But what about how other people survive? Then I was thinking about the Russians, right? How the Russians, or the Tibet, or the Himalayan, around the Himalayan belt, people got the water from where? Directly from the snow. They got the water directly from the snow. And then, so they get water easily. Then towards the plain, water has to get down there. Without the water, we cannot survive. So we have to get the water. A plain, then the snow will take the form of the river. Then river flows. And if the river flows too too for long route, then the river will dry up. So part of the water goes down underground. Underground go and it does not evaporate. On the surface it can evaporate. So, but on the surface also required, people are there on the surface. And then some people are down. There the waters go down the earth. Wow, who's doing this? And then after using the water will all go down to ocean. Then from the ocean, not finish. Because this water has to be recycled. Then this ocean, the waters again go back to Mount Everest. So who is taking it there? Again the ocean evaporates. And evaporates, the water becomes what? Like vapors, condensation. Then there is a cloud, and then cloud pushed to the highest point. Pushed to the highest point. Then it becomes cooler, it becomes solidified. Snow. With the snow, then the water is thrown down. If the water is thrown down as water, it will again go away, finish. So it has to be kept there. It's a freezer. Kept in form of solid. It made snow. And snow kept it there, it lasts longer. Wow, who's doing this? It's beautiful cycle, amazing. Who's doing this? This was the thought that came to me. And most likely in the past, some people must have thought it that way. And they must have thought that there must be some Asian who is doing this. It is God. Or another alternative is, no, it's not God. The people who are involved there, it is their karma. When these people are gone, with the karma, these people are gone, the next generation comes. Without that karma, the rivers dry up. Glaciers, they melt. Global warming happens. Excessive flood or drought. So the whole world extinct. Wow, that's amazing. So later on when we study this Rajasiddham Sutra, so 3 levels of dependent origination, cause and effect, whole world operate on this cause and effect. That's amazing. So the point is that the Buddha taught no blind faith. Things operate only by dependent origination. That is and how to explain it too well is when you understand Prasangika's philosophy. That there's nothing objective there, is purely subjective. Your mind imputes, this is how things operate. Okay, so dependent origin applicable only to applicable to all phenomena across the board of existence. Having said this, now we have to plunge to emptiness. What is emptiness? Okay, we have to emptiness. There's no way by which somebody comes and bless you, touch your heads and you realize emptiness. Impossible. So for that we have to study, contemplate and meditate. What to study? So there are so many reasons given by the Buddha, further explained by Nagarjuna, Acharya Chandra and so forth. I'm going to share with us one reason which is applicable to, which can be extendable to any other reasons used by the great masters. This is known as the reasoning of the 4 essentials to establish emptiness. The reasoning of the 4 essentials to establish emptiness. The reasoning of the 4 essentials to establish emptiness. Okay, ready? Okay, what are the 4 essentials? Number 1, essential of identifying the object of negation. Number 1, essential of identifying the object of negation. Number 2, essential of understanding. Okay, today I will alter a little bit because there are 2 ways of presenting the sequence. There are 2 ways of presenting the sequence. I like to bring it the other way. Usually I don't do that. The essential for understanding the pervasion. Essential for understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being one with and different. Let me repeat it. Essential for understanding pervasion. Pervasion. Essential for understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being one with and different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Let me repeat it. Essential for understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being one with and different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Let me repeat it. Essential for understanding the pervasion, that anything which is empty of being one with and different. Okay, what did I say? Essential for understanding the pervasion, that anything which is intrinsically one. Add this word intrinsically. Anything which is empty of being intrinsically one with and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Okay, number 3. Essential for understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Essential for understanding the emptiness of what is that? Essential for understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Armor, did you write? You didn't write. Okay. Number 3. Essential for understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. Okay. Number 4. Number 2, they are very similar. Number 4. Essential for understanding the emptiness of the object. What is that? Emptiness of objects being intrinsically different from its parts. Okay. Number 1. Essential for understanding the object of negation. Essential for understanding what is that? Essential for understanding what do you say? The first one. Essential for identifying the object of negation, number 1. Number 2, essential for understanding the pervasion, that anything which is intrinsically one with and intrinsically different from its parts entails the emptiness of objective existence of the object. Number 3, essential for understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically one with its parts. And then finally, the essential of understanding the emptiness of the objects being intrinsically different from its parts. Just change the word one with different. That's it. Okay. Now, you ready? Ready? Okay. Group A, Group B. Hey, Group A, what is this? Glass of water. Group B, what is this? Glass of water. Let's say Group A, you are the ordinary person. You are the ordinary people. And Group B, you are a physicist. You're a physicist, right? Okay. Group A, what is this? And Group B, you physicist, you are the particle physicist. Particle physicist, which means that you examine the quarks, electrons, protons, and so forth, and you use the electron microscope. Now using electron microscope, what is this? Pool of atoms. You will say pool of atoms. And I say water. What do you say? Hey, Group B. Pool of atoms. Is there water? No water, just atoms. You getting it? Okay, Group A, what is this? Water, right? Water. So Group A says water. Group B says no water. Pool of atoms. No water. Okay, who is correct? I'm asking group A, who is correct? You are correct or they are correct? Thomas? They're correct. You are correct. They're wrong. They're wrong. Okay. Hey, group B, who's correct? Huh? Okay. Jigmala is not a physicist, he's a fundamentalist. She was saying, we are right, they're wrong. All right? Okay. Hey, I will ask the lady there. Who's correct?
Мы все правы.
Both are correct. Okay, what's your name? Allah. Allah is more objective. Yeah. Thank you, Allah. Both are correct. Okay. Allah, my question to you. This is a flower, and this is a flower, and this is chocolate. Which is correct?
Я воспринимаю этот объект как цветок. Может быть, вы как шоколадку, я не знаю.
Geshe-la, I see it as a flower. Maybe you see it as a chocolate, but I
don't see
myself
chocolate.
it as a flower.
So which is correct? Which is correct? Somebody says this is flower, and somebody says this is chocolate. Who's correct?
Ну, зависит от того, кто воспринимает. Я это так понимаю. Я это так понимаю.
It depends on the person who sees this object.
That's interesting. Okay. Say, some people say that Allah is in Root Institute. Some people say that Allah, you are in India now. Some people say that Allah is in Russia. Who's correct?
Ну, на относительном уровне, видимо, будут правы те, кто скажет, что Алла находится в Рут-институте и в Индии.
So on the conventional level, those who say that Allah is in Root Institute and those who say that Allah is in India are both correct.
No, I didn't say. I said Allah is in India, and some say Allah is in Russia now. Who's correct? This is my question.
Но тот, кто говорит, что я нахожусь в Индии.
Those who say that Allah is in India right now, those people are correct.
How many agree with Allah in a sense? Those who are not radical. Right? Okay. I agree with Allah. Thank you. Okay. Which means that you cannot say that Allah is in India and Allah is also non-India. Both cannot be correct simultaneously. You agree? How many agree? Except for the radicals. Everybody will agree, right? So likewise, you cannot say that this is water and this is non-water simultaneously. It cannot be. If it's this flower and this not flower, this flower and this chocolate, you cannot say that simultaneously. Both cannot be correct. Likewise, this water and this not water, both cannot be correct simultaneously. Okay, my question to you. Which of the two perceptions is correct? You said there's water. You said there's no water. It's just pool of atoms, no water. Who is correct? Non-radical philosophers. Who's correct? Yes. Arman.
Just like the mirage example you gave when you have to come.
This is my question. Who's correct?
The atoms are correct.
Huh?
Atoms are correct.
Atoms are correct.
Yes.
They're not atoms. They're human beings.
Sorry?
They're human beings. They're not atoms.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the water.
Huh?
You're talking about the water, right?
No, I said the one who said this is water and one who said this is not water. This is just pool of atoms, no water.
Yeah. Second.
Not the first one.
No.
This is not water.
That's just a label given by us.
Okay, otherwise this is not water.
No, if you
Is it water or not?
if you closely observe it, then no.
It's not closely observed whether it's water or not.
No.
No, you are not Arman.
My name is Arman.
Your name is Arman. You are not Arman.
Yeah, I am not.
You did not have breakfast.
My body did, but I.
Okay, the girl over there. The girl over there.
Мне кажется, что в данной ситуации права и одна и вторая группа, потому что результат зависит от того, как рефлексирует сознание каждого человека. То есть, если для первой группы в стакане действительно просто вода, то для второй группы, которая привыкла осмыслять все в определенной научной парадигме, для них это все является, безусловно, собранием атомов. И то же самое с информацией, например, о том, где находится Алла. Если люди не знают, что она уехала в Индию, для них она может быть в России. С цветком та же самая ситуация. Если у нас человек всегда видел цветы, сделанные из шоколада, то если мы покажем ему обычный цветок, который состоит из непосредственно живых клеток, для него он все равно будет из шоколада, пока он не убедится в этом.
I think that both groups of people are correct. A is correct and B is correct because results depend on our perception. In other words, everything depends on the observer. For example, for the group A, for this group, who are used to see the glass of water is water, the answer that it is a water in your hand is correct. At the same time, for the group B, who are the scientists, who are the scientists and who are used to see the water as a bunch of atoms, for them, when you say there is a bunch of atoms in my hand, this is correct assumption. So everything depends on the observer. Likewise, when with the example, where is Allah in India or in Russia, it again depends on the observer. Those people who don't know that Allah is in India, if we say that Allah is in Russia, for them this assumption will be correct. And the same we can apply for the flower. For example, if some people only saw, like chocolate flowers, like chocolate which is made in the form of a flower, and you say, oh, it's a chocolate in my hand, and for those group of people who are used to see only chocolate flowers, for them this would be correct. So at the end, everything depends on the observer. This is the answer.
What's your name?
Как вас зовут? Настя. Настя.
Nastya. Okay. The brilliant is amazing answer. Thank you. Very good answer. It needs a little bit of fine polishing. Fine polishing is required here and there. Overall speaking, is a brilliant answer. So about Allah being in India, in Russia, that is saying, some say Allah is in India now. That is valid. Nobody can contradict with this. But those people who think that Allah is still in Russia, they think that Allah is in Russia now. We can invalidate them. So this is incorrect. But Group A says this is water. It depends on their perception. Group B says this is no water, it's full of atoms. This is their perception. And both perceptions are correct. Both perceptions are correct. Whereas with the Allah in India, Allah in Russia, both cannot be correct simultaneously. But with the water, what the Nastya. What Nastya said is correct with the water. What is seen by group A as water, group C as B as pool of atoms, no water. It depends on your perception. That's correct. Okay. Now, which of the two perception is more distance from the water? Which of the two perceptions is closer to the water? Which of the two, A or B? Okay, Devika.
A is further away from the water.
A further away from the water and
B
B
is closer.
closer. So, if A, within A, let's say that was girl over there, your name? Next to Thomas, yes, you. Nastya. Okay. Let's say Nast and the what is that? Your name?
Arjana.
Huh? Arjana. Or the Nastya and Arjana, they are the same distance from this. And they are looking, both of them looking at through their naked eyes. If one says that this is water, one says there's no water, both cannot be correct. Only one can be correct at the most. But here, group A looks at from distance, group B looks at very closely through electron microscope. So the perception is different. As Nastya said, the perception is different. Group A uses far away mind. Group B uses a mind very close to the object. So therefore, the perception is different. Because the perception difference, the same object can be perceived in different ways, depending on the perceptions. In other words, the frame of reference is different. Whereas in the case of two people sitting together, the frame of reference is the same, and if they describe differently, both can be correct. But the two of you, group A and group B, you are using two different frames of reference. You're getting it? One, look, you can frame reference from distance, and other one frame reference from nearby. So now look, your mind which is further away from the object, mind which is further from the objects, assessing the object is known as conventional analysis. The mind which is closer to the object and analyzing the object is known as ultimate analysis. In short, the mind which perceives the object can be classified into two groups: ultimate analysis and conventional analysis. So, this is water with respect to the Nastya. As Nastya said, this object seen by the conventional analysis of water, that's correct. This object seen by ultimate analysis as no water is also correct. Because the two minds are very different minds. We are using two different minds. One is conventional analysis and one is ultimate analysis. You're getting it? Okay. So with this, in other words, what we're saying is that object, look at this now, without electron microscope. Hey, scientist. Right? So Nastya said that you are scientist. Hey, the scientists don't electron microscope. Use naked eyes. What is this? Water. And how does this water appear to you? As objectively or as subjectively? Ilango? Objectively. Okay, the Ranagarji, how do you see the word objectively, subjectively? Objectively. How many agree with two of them reasons? What do you mean by seeing the object, the water, as objectively? What do you mean by that? It is there. It's not there. Okay, so the water exists objectively or not? Water exists objectively or subjectively?
Water exists subjectively.
It exists subjectively.
Water exists objectively.
So it is in your mind.
No, it's outside.
So you said subjectively.
I said objectively.
But no, the water exists subjectively or objectively?
I said water exists subjectively.
Subjectively. Subject means?
Objectively.
Objectively.
Sorry, I speak very...
Water exists objectively.
Objectively, yes.
Okay. So if the water exists objectively, remember, if the water exists objectively, which of the two minds should see this? Ultimate analysis, conventional analysis. Which of the two minds should see this? If the water exists objectively. Say you see me in water from distance. You are 1 kilometer away from me. You see me in water. And if I'm really in water, who should be seeing that? The one who's close by or one from distance? Momo. If you see me in water, who will decide? The one who is nearby me or further away from me? Who will decide that I'm in water or not?
Near.
The person nearby. So the mind nearby is known as ultimate analysis. So if the object does exist objectively, it should be seen by the ultimate analysis. It cannot be seen by the conventional analysis. So we all said that it appears as objectively real. How do we evaluate if it exists objectively real? How do we evaluate whether or not it exists objectively real? By using ultimate analysis. You getting it? Okay. Now, ultimate analysis, which of the two minds it resembles closer to its ultimate analysis? Naked eyes or the electron microscope? Electron microscope. So electron microscope should see the objective water. Using electron microscope, do you see the water? You don't see the water, which means that the water does not exist objectively. You getting it? Okay. This is so important. This is very important. If the water does exist objectively, it should be seen by the ultimate analysis. If the water exists conventionally, it should be seen by the conventional analysis. Okay, we have 3 more minutes. We have to know this very precisely. So, object. So here we see that group A sees this water, group B sees this as no water, full of atoms, no water. You getting it? So group A uses which mind? Hey, group A. What happened? Chelsea, what happened? Which mind did you use? Huh? Conventional analysis. So therefore you see, I say, look, the object, now look, object seen by a valid conventional analysis is known as conventional truth. Let me repeat, now defining the two truths. Object seen by the valid conventional analysis is known as conventional truth. Now group B, what are you seeing? Atoms, no water. Okay, so object, my question is to group B is, what are you seeing, water or no water? I'm not asking the atoms, I'm asking water or no water, group B. No water. So object as seen by the valid ultimate analysis is known as ultimate truth. You're getting it? Let me repeat it. I'm defining two truths. Object as seen by the valid ultimate analysis is known as ultimate truth. Object is seen by the valid conventional analysis is known as the conventional truth. You're getting it? So from this, we see that group A sees that this is water. Group B sees that this is no water. Water or no water is decided by which mind? Whether there's water or no water is decided by which mind? Conventional analysis. You're getting it? Not by ultimate analysis. Water or no water decided by conventional analysis. Objective water or no objective water is decided by ultimate analysis. Don't forget it. This very important point is just 10:30 sharp. I want to make sure that we know this before we leave for a break. Okay, first, what is the definition of conventional analysis? No, conventional truth. Okay, Thomas.
It's how the things appear.
Okay, anyone else? I already said something. Anyone who remembers? What do you understand by conventional truth? Raise hands. Raise hands. I said something. Gabor.
Object as seen by valid conventional analysis is conventional.
Perfect. So therefore, this is one thing that I really suggest that you remember, try to remember the key words. Object as seen by the valid conventional analysis is known as conventional truth. You're getting it? I already said it. Don't alter that and try to understand the meaning. Later on, if you use these words precisely, nobody can debate against you. Nobody can see loopholes in you. You're getting it? Hey, group B, how do you understand ultimate truth? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Okay. The lady over there, your name, Kari, what? What's your name? Yes. Ragama.
Объект, который устанавливается верным абсолютным анализом, является абсолютной истиной.
Object seen by the valid ultimate analysis is ultimate truth.
Very good. Very precise. Nobody can debate against this. Object as seen by the valid ultimate analysis is known as ultimate truth. You getting it? Ultimate truth. So, now look. Heart Sutra. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Form is not of the emptiness. Emptiness is not other than the form. Okay, now let's see. How many recited this Heart Sutra the last few days? All of us. Okay, let's see. What group A sees as form, as water? What group B sees as empty of water? Form is empty. You getting it? Both are correct. What group B sees as empty is what group A sees as form. Emptiness is form. You getting it? Now, these two, what you see as water, what they say as no water, is it the same object or two different objects? It's the same object. Form is not different from emptiness, and emptiness also not different from the form. You getting it? It's the same object. The same object behaves in two different ways, depending on what Nastya said. What Nastya said? The same object behaves in two different ways, depending on the different observers, different perceptions, different mind, ultimate analysis and conventional analysis. So when you employ the ultimate analysis, you see water, form. When you employ the conventional analysis, you see the water, form. When you employ ultimate analysis, you see emptiness of water. So it's the same object, but seen in two different ways. So from this, the first one, form is empty. But group A sees as form is actually the empty with respect to group B. So that is the explanation of the ultimate truth. So the form that we see, group B sees as emptiness. This is the ultimate truth. Now what group B sees as emptiness is what group A sees as a form. That is conventional truth. Because what group B sees as emptiness is what group A uses conventional analysis, and you see the conventional truth. And emptiness not other than form is also not an emptiness. The two truths are not two distinct entities. These are the two truths, the two natures of the same object, two sides of the same coin. Emptiness and ultimate truth and conventional truth, these two are the two sides of the same coin. You getting it? Okay. Now, how many like to end up into confusion? Raise hands. How many are curious to end up into confusion? Professor Rogerji, you want to end up in confusion? You don't want to end up in confusion. All right? Okay. Somebody wants to end up confusion, and on the basis of the confusion, you want to grow further? My question to you. Okay. Question to you. What is this? Hey, group A. Group B, what is this? No water. No water meaning no objective water, right? Because water, no water is decided by group A or group B. Water or no water is decided by group A, not group B. Group B decides objective water or no objective water. You getting it? Because you analyze objective or no objective. You don't analyze water in general. You getting it? So therefore group B, what is this? Empty of objective water. You getting it? Group A, what is this? Water. You getting it? Okay. Now Nastia said that both are correct. It depends on the perceiver. It depends on the perceiver, the mind, impure mind. Now, if it depends on the perceiver, the impure mind, my question to you and Nastia is remove the two perceptions, remove the minds. Remove the minds. What is this? I am not interested in your mind. I'm interested in this. What is this object? Hey, group A, what is this object? What happened? Hey, group B, what is this object? Huh? Jigme, liquid form. Liquid form is not, you are not going to decide liquid form. Liquid form, they will decide. Liquid is a confidential truth. You getting it? Okay, what is this? Over there. The lady over there.
Ничего не будет, Geshe-la.
Geshe-la, if we remove both perception, nothing would be left.
So nothing is left.
Nothing.
Nothing is existent. So nothing is decided by which mind? Which of the two minds? Okay, what is in my hand? Nothing is there. That nothing is decided by which of the two minds? Conventional mind, you're getting it? So I said remove the conventional mind. Remove the conventional, even nothing cannot be said because that is decided by the conventional mind. And it's the Nastia, you tell me, what is left? When the two minds, you said that depends on the minds. You remove remove the two minds, remove the perceptions. What is there? What is this?
Мне кажется, что в данном случае действительно не остается ничего, это пустота. На самом деле, мне кажется, что это похоже на то, как можно воспринимать личность. То есть для кого-то личность действительно существует, а для других людей, и, по крайней мере, что я читала касательно представлений буддизма, например, у Васубандху, личность — это набор дхарм. То, что понимается под личностью, это набор дхарм, который объединен в единый поток самтана. И непосредственно самой личности, ее как таковой вроде бы и нету, но при этом все равно можно же что-то воспринимать. И таким образом, мне кажется, что действительно под этим и понимается пустота, которая, с одной стороны, не является нигилизмом, а с другой стороны, не подразумевает то, что что-то действительно объективно существует.
Geshe-la, I think nothing would be left, and we can compare this nothing with emptiness. And I also want to draw an example with how we perceive a person. For example, in one of the works of Acharya Vasubandhu, I read that person is a collection of dharmas, and person does not exist the way we see, but at the same time we see something. And likewise, on the basis of such examples, we can posit emptiness, and emptiness is something which is not nihilism, but at the same time it is not something which is objectively existent.
Okay, this is an interesting answer. Thank you, Nastia. Very good answer. Okay. But when the answers are very good, I tend to challenge. Not because it's a challenge, it's because to fine tune or to see the depth deeper. My question is, the Buddha taught, what you said is that what's left? The Nasya said that nothing is left. That nothing is the emptiness. Emptiness is left. If emptiness is left, then the Buddha taught emptiness of emptiness. And even the emptiness is also not left. If you see emptiness is left, you see emptinesses, then if emptiness is left, it should be seen by the ultimate analysis. Then the ultimate analysis should be seeing the emptiness to be objectively real. So Buddha taught nothing exists objectively, including emptiness. The Buddha taught emptiness of emptiness. You getting it? Okay. How many you are intrigued? That's interesting. Reasons? We are so lucky to have Nastya, right? Who brought this issue up. Now the emptiness comes. Very good. Okay, Nastya, thank you. Very good. So these are the points to contemplate on before we jump into the 4 essentials. Okay, Thomas.
Isn't emptiness of emptiness just that there needs to be something to be empty so that there is a sunyata emptiness?
According to which? Ultimate analysis, conventional analysis.
Ultimate analysis?
Okay, ultimate analysis, even emptiness is empty,
Yeah,
emptiness,
sunyata,
emptiness,
sunyata.
emptiness.
Well, there needs to be something to be empty so that there can be emptiness.
Say it again.
There needs to be something to be empty of its own
Okay, so-
self-characteristics that there can be
If there should be something with respect to ultimate analysis, conventional analysis.
If we go closer to object, ultimate analysis.
Ultimate analysis, if there's something there, it should be objectively real. Whether group A says something is there, that should be objectively real. Because group A does not exist. Group A meaning group B. Ultimate analysis does not examine if the flower exists or not. It examines if the flower exists objectively or not. So if it says something is there, which means something exists objectively is there.
Is it an infinite regression? Is it then
Infinite regression.
Yeah.
Okay, this is not an infinite regression.
Because then it goes
It is not
emptiness
infinite
of
regression.
emptiness of emptiness of
Simply
emptiness.
because, for example, say space here. You keep going. You keep tracking the space. What is behind that space? Behind that, it'll go ad infinitum. Simply because it is limitless doesn't mean it is infinite regress. Infinite regress has a negative connotation. It may, in a way, it is saying there's an internal contradiction. This is the implication of the infinite regress. Okay, here. Okay, last question for this session.
Geshe, I was responding rather, I was saying, that, just responding to your question that if we remove both conventional analysis and ultimate analysis, what is left? So I would say loosely, any mind necessarily has to fall either into conventional analysis or ultimate analysis. And if somehow we do manage to remove both, then we cannot say what is left. Then we cannot say what is there on the object. If we manage to remove both conventional analysis and ultimate analysis,
Okay, so there's nothing there.
we cannot say.
It's very dangerous. There's nothing there.
No, I'm not saying nothing there, we cannot say. If we remove conventional analysis and ultimate analysis, both, Geshe, then we cannot say. We cannot say, I'm not saying nothing is there, I'm saying we cannot say.
We cannot say, even the Buddha doesn't say anything.
I'm saying first that it's not possible to remove both conventional analysis.
It does, of course. I'm asking what is there. Because there's something there.
But without either of those, we cannot say.
Are you sure? Okay, I said last is last. Otherwise, many hands are coming up. I really appreciate these hands. Okay. These are the first food for thoughts. Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata Om Gate Gate Paragate Parasamgate Bodhisvatyata. Three processes together.